and then he has a remote servo for the banjo playing part. That's the only thing that's remote. And then he has his hand going like this so that he's moving. But he is scrunched up inside of a trash can.
And he's not a small man either.
He's not a little, he's like 6'5" or something like that.
He's a big dude.
They were saying that it was hard for him to like unfold afterwards because like he was so folded up in that trash can, like that he was like
body just locked up.
Like lock it up. Wow.
Yeah.
And like there are so many scenes that things are just on the edge, and that the camera was set just right at height or just back enough and tilted enough that you aren't seeing what's happening on this side.
Gretchen, we're back.
We're back.
It's good to see you again.
Yes.
We had our little break, and we came back from our break and jumped right back into things with our Ralph Fiennes double feature and talking about Strange Days. And so now we're shifting gears and we're on another film that's totally different.
It's totally different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I appreciate this film a lot. Thank you for picking it.
This is an absolutely wonderful, joyous, fantastic film. I'm so glad that we're talking about it. And for those of you that don't know, this is the Check the Gate podcast where Gretchen and I watch a movie and then we get together and talk about it, but we never know where the discussion is going to take us. And I don't know where the discussion is going to take us on this one, but it's only going to go to great places because we're going to be talking about the 1979 movie, The Muppet Movie.
Yeah.
This movie is just joy.
It's just joy. Oh my goodness. I think I remember the first time I saw this film oftentimes if people are paying attention to this show, well, I'll mention this one theater that I used to go to in Memphis that had like kind of a domed effect on it. This was one of those films I saw there as well. But I didn't see it in 1979 because I was 3. I did see it later when it came. I don't know if it was like maybe it was on a second run or something like that I saw it, or like a matinee dollar theater kind of situation. I don't really remember the details of it, but I do remember seeing it on the big screen. And every single time I hear the Rainbow Connection, it makes me weepy. I give a Klimt just thinking about it. It just kills me. Oh, not in a bad way. Not like I'm like, oh, this is sad. It's just, it's such a hopeful, like, wonderful song. And I think when I rewatched this recently, I rewatched it with my my partner. He and I were watching it like together online, and I'm like texting, I'm like, I'm crying. Are you crying? Oh boy.
Yeah, this film is pure joy. It's pure cinematic joy. I'm willing to say that this is a flawless film because my expectation is not that it is supposed to meet some magnificent cinematic standard. Mm-hmm. This film is joy. It's love and it's entertaining. It's
such
beautiful
a good
to
love
look at.
story.
It is. It's
Aww.
just every bit of this movie is so good. And for 1979, it's a cinematic wonder.
There are things that they did, special effects in this that were tested in other films that they have done as the Muppets or different Muppet type films that were put into action that were spectacular successes.
Yeah.
And it's all things that you love, Martin. Good camera work.
Oh, yeah.
Good camera magic.
Yeah.
Like just pointing the camera the right way or using the right obfuscation to hide the puppet actors, that it just, and it feels real. And I think that's probably what I think one of the biggest selling points for this is that we saw the Muppet Show as like a variety show that we'd see on TV. But this was like getting to see them in real life and people interacting with them as if they were people or, or whatever. Because there are a lot of times when people go like, whatever this is. And I just think that this is one of those films that are like that possess such a specialness to it that we're able to suspend our disbelief because it feels so real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this really was the Muppets being put into a real world.
I mean, they're in Times Square. They're in, I mean,
The swamp sequence at the beginning when we're flying in
which
from the
is actually
helicopter.
a set.
And but it starts
Yeah.
way out.
Yeah, yeah.
Flying into the swamp before we get into that set. And
Yeah.
and I'm sure it has to be a set, but it's so good.
The only
It's
thing that's
so
real,
magnificent.
the plants and stuff like that. I was reading about this, like the set designer actually had real dragonflies in it
Wow.
because it was so believable of a swamp.
Yeah.
But it's such a good.
It is so believable. Yeah, this movie, so it's so magnificent. Everything about this. If you are a person who is around our age and you grew up with the Muppet Show and you got to see this movie either in a theater, I got to watch it in a theater. This was a brief moment in my childhood where I lived in a town that had a movie theater. I was in the town of La Grande, Oregon. So we had the Grandron Theater. It was a 2-screen theater, which was huge. It was this theater that I watched Star Wars on 2 years prior.
Wow.
So, and this is just a couple of years before my family moved and we no longer had a movie theater. But if you either saw it in a movie theater, maybe you saw it on HBO because HBO was at the time. Maybe you saw it on VHS around that time when it was in a rental shop. Like, this was huge. This is what brought about Fraggle Rock a little bit down the road. Like, we're not too far away from the Fraggle Rock years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such an amazing time when Jim Henson was alive and was making these films. Eventually that would give us The Dark Crystal. It would give us Labyrinth, which there was just a 40th anniversary of this film. And I watched a screening of this at the Hollywood Theater, which was magnificent. We're at that place.
Late 1900s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
boy.
But what a magical time and what a special thing to be able to have the work of Jim Henson and everyone that was with Henson Studios and their creature shop and everything that they did. So, yeah, this was so special.
That was a good pick. One of the many things that it just makes it just kind of joyous to watch as far as filmmaking magic. I don't know how much you know. Like I kind of dived into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know me. I loved how some of those shots were set up because I had to even go back and look at them because I was like, how is this? This is masterclass. Like the swamp shot, for example, has Jim Henson is literally folded up inside of a trash can that's submerged in water. And he has a monitor that's going out so he can see how the perspective is that makes sure that Kermit's looking at the camera. And then he has a remote servo for the banjo playing part. That's the only thing that's remote. And then he has his hand going like this so that he's moving. But he is scrunched up inside of a trash can.
And he's not a small man either.
He's not a little, he's like 6'5" or something like
he's
that.
a big dude.
They were saying that it was hard for him to unfold afterwards because he was so folded up in that trash can, that he was
body just locked up.
Lock it up. Wow.
Yeah.
And there are so many scenes that things are just on the edge and that the camera was set just right at height or just back enough and tilted enough that you aren't seeing what's happening on this side. That's how at least especially the Muppet Show was shot that way specifically. Yeah. They were just they had the built up set and then the set actors would sit underneath and do their jobs. Man.
Yeah.
Some movie making magic. The scene where Kermit is sitting on the stool and there's a spotlight on him and he's talking. That's not a remote. That is a stool that's cut in half with a mirror, and and Jim Henson is hiding behind the mirror.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Just those kinds of things make those earnestness. And I hate to be. I always say that I hate to say this, but I do hate to say it, and I hate to be the part of the well, they don't make movies like they used to. They don't make movies like they used to.
They don't. Not at all.
And I know that there's a reason why we have like all these great technologies that make this simplify this and put less strain on people's bodies and whatnot like that. But there's something beautiful and earnest about these, like the way that these things were constructed. I mean, they created like, for instance, the bicycle riding scene. That is the first time we saw him do it properly, right? Like, because we saw Kermit ride a bike in Emmett Otter's Junkyard Band or whatever.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
That movie. So that was the first of the Muppet movies, right?
Yeah.
And then, so this movie came afterwards, and they learned on how to create a Muppet riding a bicycle. But like, as we remember from that one, he crashes in the post and falls over. It's not a very long scene. Well, we get a extendedly long scene of that. And
it's a whole bike riding sequence out for
part of it is remote.
Yep.
Part of it is just servos that are like spinning the bikes. And then they have like rods that attach the bikes. So everybody, when they're riding together, that we have that, like, man.
Yeah.
And that just some movie making magic right there.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful.
And the technology at the time, so this is kind of a combination of TV and movie, because when you're making a film and you're shooting on celluloid, you don't have the options like you do with digital. Like modern day stuff, we can definitely cheat because everything's just a digital signal. You can send that signal around. You can have tons of monitors all over the place, like and almost no latency to any of them. There's no delay, anything like that. So like what you can do today, and I mean what I do for what cheap stuff I have, and it's very easy. 1979, to be able to have monitors run from cameras that you're pointing in there, you're using television show technology, which is usually happening in a studio system with a studio camera that's running into a bank of systems that runs your signal to there and then runs that signal back. And it's trying to boost that signal and not lose it so there's no delay, so that what's being seen in the camera is being seen in the big chunky monitor that you have, because that was the CTR days, a big cathode ray tube. So now how do you get this little tiny cathode ray tube that has a signal that doesn't have any delay in it, so that you can see when you're doing this and it's at the camera and goes through all that stuff and comes back to you, you're keeping up with what everybody else is doing, trying to talk, and you're jammed into a trash can or you're underneath something. These false floors that they had, like their ability to push the technology at the time, or at least deal with all of the issues that the technology at the time had, to be able to get this done and have films that still withstand the test of time. I'm sorry, but the Muppet Movie is still a movie that holds up 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And
the story is silly, but it's also made for kids, but it's also great.
But it's a wonderful story. I'll be 55 in a couple of weeks, and I still think the Muppet Movie is magnificent and wonderful storytelling.
It's all about wanting to be in the biz.
Right, absolutely. And it's not, I don't even know if it's about that. Like, it becomes that, but then it's really about wanting to just give people joy, wanting to give people something beautiful. You have this particular gift. He has this particular gift, and it's that idea from the whole setup. He's singing in the swamp, and then Dom DeLuise, Cannonball Run, Smokey and the Bandit. Dom DeLuise comes paddling up there, and he's an agent in Hollywood, and it says, you could make people happy, kid. You could be in pictures. And he decides he's going to go on this little adventure to go and, give people joy. And then this film just spends the next hour and 40 minutes doing nothing but giving us joy with everybody.
Oh my gosh. There is so much love in this. The cameos alone.
Oh my goodness.
God.
The cameos are so wonderful. I think you have to be of a particular age, or you have to be a particular level of cinephile to be able to really go through and nail stuff. It's one thing when you can see Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks is still
iconic.
Contemporary in his 90s, because he's getting ready to have Spaceballs 2 come out, and did History of the World Part 2 a few years ago. Like, he's still kind of bouncing around out there.
He's 99 years old.
Yeah, he's and directing out there, and his wife has been passed away for quite a while, Anne Bancroft. But he's still out there, making joy and making fun and doing this stuff. But like it's a deep cut when you get someone out there. It's like, oh, I just spaced off his name too. The guy who was like our In Like Flint guy that was out there. Was it Lee Marvin? No, it wasn't Lee Marvin that was in there. Shoot. Gretchen, I just spaced off his name.
Charles Durning.
No, not Charles Durning. That's the guy who owns the Frog Legs restaurant. But it's James Coburg. So James Coburg is in this film, and it's just like you gotta know
Bob
your stuff.
Hope,
Bob Hope,
Elliot Gould,
Telly Savalas.
Oh
man,
Carol Kane,
early Carol Kane. It's
Cloris
a
Leachman.
myth. Yes,
Yeah.
no, not myth.
Madeline Kahn.
Madeline Kahn's in this.
Let's see. It also has Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor shows
Steve
up in
Martin
this thing.
is in
Absolutely.
this.
Steve Martin, who, oh God, I have loved Steve Martin for his whole entire career. And just to go back and just see him in this as just that stuck up waiter in shorts.
So
being
good.
a dick.
So good.
And just with just the right tone
Milton
for a kids
Berle.
movie. Yep, Milton Berle.
Edgar
Oh my
Bergen,
God. Yeah.
Paul Williams playing the.
Oh my God, yeah. Paul Williams is the piano player in
Oh
the
my
bar in there.
gosh.
And he does the music for this film,
Yes.
I believe, too.
I think so. I think some of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
It's just such a wild, but it's also very like, this is a very like Gen X-y kind of, again.
That's what I was saying. Like, those are deep cuts. Like,
Yeah.
if you were born after like 1985, unless you're a cinephile, you have no idea who
This
all
cast
of these
is.
people are. They mean nothing. Ethel Merman? Isn't Ethel Merman in this thing too? I think Ethel Merman showed up in this.
I'm looking at my list. I don't see it.
Oh, was Ethel Merman? Because she was one that kind of popped up in little bits like that too. I swear she was in it. But yeah, and you know, Charles Durning was in all sorts of stuff back then. He was quite the iconic.
Carol Spiney, but he does the voice of, he's Big Bird.
Yes, that's Big Bird.
Bird's actor.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People could actually do cameos in here who were actual human beings that voiced characters, and most people would never know who they were because they never saw their face or their real voice.
True.
I mean, you know, like Frank Oz's voice just on its own kind of stands
Oh my
out.
gosh.
Like you can hear Fozzie and Yoda and Miss Piggy when he talks. Yeah.
Rolf is my, who's your favorite Muppet
My favorite Muppet. All right.
of this era?
So I'm a drummer. I will always love Animal.
Okay.
And
okay.
even though he's not a character that has dialogue and always carries things along.
He does a lot of like emoting though.
He does. He emotes a lot. Though that's probably pretty significant for me. And because he was a drummer, I was a drummer. Like I always just like his moments were always really grand. Like he just always stood out to me. But he's like a small character. He was like he's kind of like the extra sweet, you know, spice to what's really good. So of the main crew of folks that usually have dialogue and actually kind of carry story and all of that, man, I relate a lot to Fozzie Bear.
Fozzie's good. Fozzie's good.
I gotta say, there's a, you know, you're not talented, but you just kind of keep trying and hoping like your dream is bigger than your ability.
And sometimes you have some
So
hits.
I think that's, yeah. So
I'm a Rolf because I just think he's the philosopher, the kind of the cool guy. Mm-hmm. He always has great stories. That's my favorite character. Plus he's a musician.
I always wanted to be
Yeah.
Styler Waldorf.
Yeah.
wish
My other
I
favorite
was
is
them.
Pepe. I love Pepe, but he's in the
yes.
modern cast.
Yeah.
I just love that character. I mean, I just kind of identify as, I think my spirit Muppet is Pepe. Mumbo shrimp, macho shrimp. Grande. Yeah. This movie, it's what's great also is that we get to kind of see the like a not necessarily that's canonically, but it's like their beginnings of like their running to Hollywood situation.
Oh, it's as if it was the origin story
Yeah.
pre the Muppet Show.
Right. It's not,
It's
but
not.
it's.
Yeah.
I do love how this kind of feels like that at times.
You could make it your own
Right.
fan canon.
Right, 100%. I mean, I feel like each movie though that they do, that like for the Muppets, is always something that's kind of and exists in a world of its own, and it's not necessarily something that's meant to overlap. Because I mean, why would you overlap Christmas Carol or Treasure Island, right? So
Oh God, Great Muppet Caper.
Great Muppet Caper,
Yeah.
like
Muppets Take Manhattan.
all of that.
I remember
like they're
those
all
three.
they kind of exist in their own entity, and this is like feels like almost like a beginnings of like where the Muppets become the Muppets, and because we meet the Electric Mayhem.
Yeah.
We'll talk about a cool it's like Kiss and Jefferson Airplane and the Doors had a band.
Oh, yeah.
like it's
Just like the perfect funk rock
it's
fun.
such a
They
really
were
cool
so good.
like every song is good. Everything is great. I mean, I there's nothing I can be like, what a poop on this. Like, I think the only thing that's silly to me is the frog legs stuff. But like, other than that, it's like that's such a good story.
Yeah.
It's such a good fun characters. Like everybody can watch it. At now we're in our late 40s, early 50s, and like seeing it again, it still holds like weight and still is deeply entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, I was howling, laughing, watching some of this.
Yeah.
And then crying for parts of it, and then being like, what a brat Miss Piggy is in this. And, I've forgotten how much of a brat she is in general. But like, yeah, that's never been my favorite character.
Yeah. I don't know that she's designed that way.
No, she loves Kermit
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
But she is a selfish brat.
It's true.
She's an actress. Mon ami.
Oh, and she ditches him when she thinks she's got a gig.
Oh.
And then it doesn't work out. And
Brutal.
then she's trying to get back in with good graces. It's amazing to actually.
It's a very thoughtful. Sorry.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's really interesting with the beats of this film because it has all of these very classic beats of films, of storytelling with a love story. And there's even there's a hitman that comes out on this.
Oh
There's
yeah, that's right. And then there's adversity. There is story arc. I mean, like things that are mature concepts that you wouldn't necessarily even need to put in a kid's movie,
Yeah.
but it just reads so well, and it's appealing for all ages. And I think that's one of the joys of the Muppets for me in general, but like I think for audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. It hits these particular story beats that we're very familiar with, and it doesn't linger on any of them long enough where we start thinking, oh, this story has gaps or it's not a complete, because it really ends up kind of coming back to these moments of joy, these songs, these fun times. Like our characters are living this experience just enough for us, and we're being introduced to the whole kind of pantheon of the Muppets that exist back then, with everything like you were saying with Electric Mayhem, and I forget the one, but the guy that's at the used car lot, the one big standalone giant monster, he's so wonderful.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
so great. And we do get to see Big Bird, who is in there. We get to see all of them, and it's this compliment enough where we get to spend this time with them and feel like we're on this little bit of an adventure and really get to explore like the world with them. They're exploring a real life world and they're Muppets and they're out there doing this. And it's not a giant surprise to anybody that somehow Muppets are out here in this world.
Yeah, nobody's shocked by them at all.
Yeah, nobody's shocked by them. They're just interactive beings that are in this world. But then we keep returning to the storyline just enough to know that there is a plot. We are going through a series. Like, it's all perfect. It's all perfectly executed and edited together so well that everything just kind of keeps us going. It's not trying to be too much of one thing or another. That's what makes it perfect. That's what makes it so lovely.
And we get to see everybody's character growth. Like we get to see Rolf's growth. We get to see Fozzie's growth. We get to
Definitely.
see Piggy and Kermit. Like we get to see them overcome their own adversities. And Gonzo. I don't know why I left him out, but yeah, like his growth. It's just so thoughtful.
Yeah.
Such a thoughtful, like, I mean, they don't make children's movies like this. They're bored either, because I don't think that they're making films for families as much as this era of filmmaking. I know that there are some films that are like a lot of cartoons that have come out that are for families and whatnot, but I don't think that they make films quite like this. I definitely remember some of the concepts being like kind of just not really like, I didn't really understand the whole frog legs thing when I was a kid. Did not get it. Like, but watching it as an adult, I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
That's kind of grim.
Well, that's kind of grim. He was going to work for the frog leg. He was going to do a commercial for frog legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's many of these older films that we watch, they couldn't be made today. And it is interesting because it could be because there's nostalgia built into this for me too, that I'm overly forgiving. I don't know. But you've made some really good points about when it's 1979 and you're making a Muppet movie. I don't know if Jim Henson's idea is, I'm going to make a movie that everybody will love. I think he made a movie that he knew that he would love and had the kind of storytelling and fun and adventure that he wanted to see, that he hoped he put out there. And that represents whatever the chunk is. If I were to, I realize I'm going to bring up like an animation reference to something, but like a recent film that I watched, because it's been this huge thing, I think it's nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards, is K-pop Demon Hunters.
I just watched that recently too.
Yeah, I just watched it, and it's okay. I thought it was fun. It's one of those where I can just say it's not made for me. And I didn't always get all of this stuff. I'm not into K-pop music. That's not my style. I will admit that the song that they have for that one, for some reason, just really works. There's the one song, Golden. It's been all over the radio. I don't know why, but the voice and just the way the singers, like, that song is really excellent. But aside from that, it's just not for me. But it's been a massive, 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 massive hit. It has spoke to so many kids, especially girls, who have looked at heroes, and especially heroes that are centered from another country or another culture. And so it's been huge. I think that's really difficult to tap into.
And self-acceptance.
Yes. Yeah. And so I think that's so hard to be able to do, to have something that appeals to a very, very broad audience that everybody can like, but also has like these good messages to it. And, you know, a lot of people say that about like Marvel movies. Marvel movies are designed to have the maximum amount of people go and watch them. So they're not taking risks. They've found like, this is exactly where our space is, and this is how we're going to make them, so that we're always like ticking off every box to get as many people in there. That's a formula. And just the Muppet movie is just not a formula. It was at a time when it was prior to the formula necessarily happening, and you could make a film that meant something to you and have so much joy.
I don't think that I'm not going to say that it's not subject to capitalism, because I had a Muppets lunchbox.
Oh yeah,
but
that was inescapable after Star Wars in '77.
I had figures of like the Muppets, definitely, because I remember having a Rolf that was like had a little piano.
Yeah,
but I don't think we were as blitzed with this one as we are with like modern kids movies. And I think that the intention back then was, oh boy, I may shoot myself in the foot for saying this, but like I think that the intent was more wholesome, and the design being family. This is an era of where we're trying to like still hang on to family values and things like that. And I think that this is kind of falls into that, like that it's a film that we can all enjoy. Whereas I think that now modern audiences are tapped more into like this is for movies for that we have for our kids, and these are movies that we have for ourselves. I don't think there's a lot of like built together to be a family viewing experience as much as there used to be. I don't know what that means or what that says about our culture or whatnot. We're just different now than we were then or whatever. There may be, and I may not be part of it because I don't have a small kid. So I just saying this as a generalization. Please don't come for me. That sounds really boomery, and I'm so sorry.
No, it doesn't sound boomery. Like cultures change.
Yes.
And the way I hate to say it this way, consume our media changes, because that's the way we have become. We have become a media consuming culture. Where if something like the Muppet Movie were made, it would be made in a very short amount of time. It would be put onto streaming. It would, it would either bomb in the first couple of days or be in the top 10 in the first couple of days. And it would either get its sequel or it would not get its sequel. And we would know all of that within the first 3 weeks to a month. And then we would all move on and forget about it. Or it would spawn 1,000 people trying to make the exact same thing, only different.
Right.
And that just wasn't the way anything happened in 1979, and we weren't even capable of doing it at that point in time.
Yeah.
So it's because we are consumers more so.
Well, I'm trying to think and trying to maybe eat my own words as saying that like there isn't movies made for families anymore, because there's gotta be, like, I know there's gotta be, like.
Yeah, Zootopia 2 just came out, and that's like one of the biggest grossing animation films of all time.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the Toy Story films
are
made for adults and kids.
But they're not, there's no like movies without, that are not animated that I'm trying to think of like more recently, other than like, I don't know,
a live
like
action.
maybe like Minecraft movie. Those are made for families, those kind of things. So that's, I guess those are the more modern versions of those. Sure. Right. Are they timeless? No, they're marketing on and something that's popular at the time. Right.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like this is an old tale that wasn't like, I don't know if we were in a space as a country where we were thinking about things in this way. I don't know. I am pulling at, whatever in the ether of that. I think that this film is just incredibly wonderful and was like 100% on all things for me. I find no flaws in it. It's great. The music is great. The story is great. It's a small story, but it's an easy one, and it follows. And I love a good adventure tale, and I love a good like hero arc, and everybody learning a lesson, but also not being such a heavy-handed lesson that we're like it's unappealing. It goes for everybody who could enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's just a great film. It's just great. Very rarely do we get to say that about films as a whole, like no notes, 100%. Right. Got it.
Yeah. Even some of the places, there's a point where Kermit and Fozzie are in the bar when they first meet. Kermit kind of jumps up there on the stage to save Fozzie, and they do the little dance number.
So great.
And that's clearly on like an early attempt of trying to have like a green screen type of a shot. Like it's dated, and it's still great. It's still great.
Is it a green screen? I don't think so.
It's something like that. They used some kind of a matte removal system in there where they've got them dancing. You can tell that the background that we're seeing is not the same background that they were filmed on. So somehow they've used some kind of a background replacement technique that they had in 1979, which, stuff was happening in 77.
True.
They were doing background replacements.
Compositing and things like that.
Right. It was the earliest stuff. So that one is really complicated because you have these anthropomorphized characters who are up there dancing in a very well lit. I think,
I thought they were marionetted. Honestly.
Well, and they very well could have been marionetted, but they're singing, and so there's their possibility of somebody in there. It could have been.
That's what it is.
And that would have to be a scene. But again, you can tell that the background is different than the foreground with them. Like they are against a fake background. So just the fact that it's very clear that is a dated technology. It doesn't matter. I can
Definitely.
still watch that scene and just be like, this is just joy.
So what that scene is composed of is them off screen. They have like a servo puppet that does this.
Yeah.
And that has a remote to it, which is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and that's amazing for 1979. Like that's really pushing
That's why it's a little
the
hingy.
technology. Sure.
It's because they even point out I watched a behind the scenes on this and a few like interviews about how like the filmmaking techniques were done, because I thought that was what made this film also really amazing and interesting, is like how we were using technology then. The fact that they had created this particular device to do remote puppeteering, amazing.
Yeah.
Because there were things they couldn't, like the bodies were marionetted, and then so they were like, all right, the mouth, like the scene where Kermit is on the bench and he's sitting on not the one where he's sitting on the like the in the shot spotlight one where he's sitting on the bench, and I think that Milton Berle comes and talk to him. I can't remember. He's sitting on the park bench. And he's a little hingy in his expression because, Kermit usually has kind of a more of a squash face as he talks. That is because of the servos from the hand puppet thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like they were really pushing that technology. And, because when they went on and, in Alien, they had all sorts of servo technology and various things that were being used for the mouths and some puppeteering things. But a lot of that stuff is happening in close-ups, and they're able to kind of get away with some stuff. And that's early days too, somewhere in there, because eventually we get Aliens out of that stuff too. And even some of the things that they were doing now, later in Star Wars, when they had moved on to Empire and Jedi with a few things. But various other moves. I mean, we were talking about Legend and the character use and any of that stuff. Like they were like, all of those folks were really pushing the ability to have something that was small and lightweight that was going to get the kind of movements that they wanted to at it. And the people, Alec Gillis is one who he does a lot of creature effects. He's got a whole creature studio that he has, and that was like Stan Winston days, and just all the things that people were trying to come up with and create to have all of this realistic movements. And holy cow, like back then we had The Howling and American Werewolf in London, and just all of this stuff that people were just pushing. The Company of Wolves, good episode, you should check that one out. Just amazing what folks were trying to do that obviously now gets swallowed up with the digital effects world.
That's what makes the Muppets special, I feel like. And I'm super curious to see what's going to happen with this new Muppet show that's coming out.
Yes, you were talking about that right before we recorded this, that there's a new Muppet movie or Muppet show.
I think it's the Muppet show.
Okay.
But I think we're doing we're buying the theater back and we're trying to come back. And I think that's what the aim is. It's going to be back to the kind of variety show, but I think it's going to be a little bit more adult. Which, here's my thing. I'm going to preface this. I don't need the Muppets to be the Meeples.
Oh, yes. That was something else. That's some early Peter Jackson stuff there.
I don't need
them.
That's
a deep cut.
Oh, yeah. I don't need them to be that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't want them to be that. I don't want to see them cussing and things like that.
Right.
I want it to be the tongue-in-cheekness of it. Have you seen Haunted Mansion?
Which one?
The one that's the Muppets are in it. That has Gonzo and Pepe.
I have not seen that one.
Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Because there's 3 Haunted Mansion movies, and there's that one, but then, there's
not
2
the Eddie Murphy one, not
and
the most recent one with Rosa Dawson.
Yes, Rosario Dawson. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, I think. Yeah.
Not that one.
Yeah.
This one is
like a Muppet haunted house.
It's Muppets. It has. It's what's kind of like about a house party that's happening that. But then Gonzo gets this invitation to go to see this dead magician's seance or something like that, and he brings Pepe with him, and it is hilarious.
Oh, I'll have to check that one out.
Hilarious. I I cannot. I mean, I laugh every time.
Yeah.
So again, and they do some very tongue-in-cheek things that are like a little bit sexy, but like not again. Like I do not want them to be the meatballs. I
Yeah.
don't need them to be so silly or like so adult. And I definitely don't want to see them like like being adult acting. Like it's just kind of gross to me. I want them. I'm hoping that whatever they do with this series isn't like what they tried with that last series, which was like kind of like the Muppets and the Office kind of situation. Did you see that show?
There was
It was like a series that they did. It was like a late night talk show style.
I remember there was Muppets Tonight.
Is that what it was called?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
They kept turning to the camera. It was very like the Office
I'm not sure what
format
that is, yeah.
and the breaking the fourth wall situation. It was not good. I mean, it had some funny moments, but it was also a little bit more adult, and I think that's probably part of why it bombed, because people were like, "Oh, cool! I get to show my kids the Muppets from what
The Muppet Office.
And then it was just like, this is the Muppets in the Office.
Yeah.
It wasn't had some interesting memes to it, but as a whole,
Yeah.
you can write it off.
Well, it's interesting with all just the Muppet stuff they've done. Like aside from the Muppet Show, the Muppet Movie, Fraggle Rock is a big thing out there, but there's a whole bunch of other movies that were made. There was I even forget which one, what in order it was, but there was Muppets Take Manhattan, and then the Great Muppet Caper that happened in there. But then there was kind of a long stretch where they really weren't making many movies.
Well, you had to because the audience matured, right?
Yeah.
So we started growing up, but then they had a Muppets Christmas Carol, Michael Caine.
That's right, the Michael Caine one.
Probably the more faithful telling of the Christmas Carol, which weirdly enough, except for like adding a few characters, Ratso, to it. Also, the Muppet Treasure Island, which Tim Curry, which is so good.
Can't go wrong with Tim Curry.
Not good, but it's fun. And then Muppet Christmas Family Movie, which is
you mentioned that one
suffering right now because you cannot see it anywhere other than YouTube, and parts of it have been removed because there is a bunch of different crossovers that happen. That you have Fraggle Rock comes in, then you also have the Sesame Street people.
Oh.
So Sesame Street people join in. And so I think there's like some copyright stuff.
Sure.
And we're missing like parts of that film. There is a really great like snowman bit that happens where Fozzie creates a snowman and they kind of do like a routine. And it's spectacular. It's hilarious. Plus one of the best running gags that they run through the entire film, flawlessly executed. There is an ice patch that everybody slips on, and everybody says, "Watch the ice patch," and everybody slips on it. It is so dumb, but it's so profoundly like hilarious that it kills me every time. It just kills me.
Nice.
There's also we talked about the Muppets period, which is that documentary style, The Office version, which I did not like.
Yeah.
And then there's the new movies, right? Like the Jason's.
The Jason Segel
These came out like the mid-aughts, right? Or like the mid-2000s, like a 2015, 2012.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's when the Jason Segel one. And I think there's been newer ones since then, but ones that I haven't seen. Because I saw like the is it just called The Muppets?
Yeah, that's
the one with Jason Segel.
No, the Muppets period is the one that's the series.
That's the series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's like the Muppet Movie that is another Muppet movie or something like that has the Jason Segel one.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that's like the second to that one, or like the sequel to that film.
Right.
But also besides that, the offshoots of that happen from this, like from the Muppets itself, like the Storyteller.
Yes.
Oh
absolutely.
my God. I adore that series.
It's been a long time since I've seen that, but it was magical.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then there was another series that I feel like is a fever dream that I cannot remember the name of it, but it had like a white lion with blue eyes.
Oh, I don't know what that is. That
was like the narrator of it. I feel like I'm starting to wonder if this is like something I made up in my head, but I almost positive I remember this.
Yeah.
So like if you guys remember,
I don't remember this one.
Comment in the comment section. White lion from the Oz. Just saying.
I did love Fraggle Rock, and you were mentioning with that one being tied up and stuff, that was on HBO.
Yeah.
So I could see how that could have some
So
licensing
I think
stuff.
some
I loved
licensing
Fraggle
stuff
Rock.
happened, and so that's why that film never really got seen. It's a good one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
I love the Muppets. I'm really I have super high hopes for this new series coming out.
Yeah.
I hope it's not so much adult adversity that they have to overcome that it becomes too adult, but I hope that I hope it's that magic, that right combo.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to seeing like singers and performers doing like vignette vaudeville acts with the Muppets again. I mean, I will forever have the Vincent Price one locked in my head, the Alice Cooper one
Oh, yes.
locked in my head, the Brooke Shields one,
Yeah.
the Jabberwocky. Do you remember that episode? That gave me nightmares as a kid. The way that the Jabberwocky was portrayed, I was a little bit afraid of the Fireys as well.
Yeah.
From Labyrinth. I thought they
Labyrinth.
were pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Anytime that they would like light
so
up.
good.
I mean, I look like a fiery.
Well, so The Dark Crystal was wonderful. That was always a favorite of mine. Again, a movie that pretty much bombed. It didn't do very well, but I loved The Dark Crystal. And then a few years back, they redid it. They did a whole prequel on that one that was called The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, and it was phenomenal. And the director, his last name is Leterrier, I believe. He did the Clash of the Titans remake, and he's done a bunch of stuff. And
Can't say that remake was good.
no, I mean that was just a cash grab, and it's another attempt at trying to make trying to refranchise things.
Yeah.
That's fine, whatever. People do that stuff. But when it was announced that he was going to do it, I was like, oh, okay, whatever, because I hadn't. And Age of Resistance is magnificent. I was so disappointed in our society for not giving that thing the love that it needed. Because it didn't get another season. We only had the one season.
What a bummer. That was beautiful.
It was so gorgeous. God, it was
There's
just
another
beautiful.
thing that's like Oz related, or like not Oz, but like Muppets related, like with Labyrinth. Did you know that somebody wrote like these like manga that were like the continuation story?
Oh, no.
Oh my God. Like I would love to see those get put to film.
Yeah.
Like maybe a beautiful anime, but I would really like to see Muppets again. Like it's the continued story of like the Goblin King's different iterations, because it's like there's always going to be a Goblin King. And I mean, it gives me chills thinking about
Nice.
it. But it's like I would love to see those. I can't remember the name of the story, but I think it's called Further Into the Labyrinth or something like that. It's the English translation, but it's a Japanese manga that is beautiful story. Like what's Jennifer Connelly's character's name? Oh, anyways, Jennifer Connelly's character, Sarah, comes back to the labyrinth and like and re-meets the new Goblin King. And it's just beautiful, beautiful. And one of the most beautiful manga I've ever read, like
Nice.
as of recent. But yeah, that I would like to see that. I mean, Muppets, let's bring them back. Please let it be good. Please.
There was almost a Labyrinth sequel a few years ago. Scott Derrickson, who did the Black Phone films, was slated to be doing a Labyrinth sequel, and his partner, not his normal writing partner, but his second wife, who has become his writing partner, was the one that was supposed to pen it. And I think the whole thing just collapsed. It totally vaporized. But when it was announced, it was kind of like an, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I just
kind
think
of
that
a
Muppets
thing.
can be done. I think it can be done. I mean, let's look at a modern Muppet that's not a puppet that's not a Muppet. Have you seen the Verkalac?
No.
It's like a vampire, kind of a Nosferatu story. That movie is phenomenal. And it has a puppet as the monster. And it is so good.
Nice.
So good. Recommended.
Well, there was a film that it hasn't ever gotten distribution. It's only been out in film festivals, and I think there's some issues with it. It was actually at the Portland Horror Film Festival a few years ago. Puppet Killer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa Ovis.
I think I remember
believe
that
is her
one.
last name. How
Yeah.
you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yes. Vancouver, British Columbia filmmaker, writer, director.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Puppet Killer's out there, and it kind of looks like an Elmo kind of a character in there.
I
is
remember
the killer in
taking
this film.
screenshots of
Yeah.
that, being like, I am watching this. It's not great.
Yeah.
But I've seen it.
Yeah.
Because I'm I'm a film selection judge, so I see some of these things. There's like those Happy Time Murders. Those films were
Yeah.
the kind of the Muppets, but our puppets. I didn't like those as much. I thought they were a little raunchy. But
Yeah.
I think I'm grossed out by that kind of stuff in general.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like the meeples.
Well,
I'm not a meeples person.
Feebles. Yeah.
Feebles.
Everyone's trying to go back
I keep
and
saying meeples. It's feebles.
Meet the Feebles.
Meet
Yeah.
the feebles.
Yeah.
Wow. I failed at my job. Feebles.
It's okay. We got it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thanks for letting us watch this film.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
It was a great one.
Going back down in nostalgia history.
Yeah. It was good. It was like a palate cleanser.
Yeah. Well, my next pick is a nostalgia history.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
so what's the next one we're going to watch?
Well, we're gonna watch the 1984 a musical action film, Streets of Fire.
Streets of Fire, which I have never seen.
It's directed by Walter Hill, who is, Warriors. And
know.
so it's pretty freaking great. It's a very young William Dafoe and things
Yeah.
like that. It's good. It's good.
Nice.
I hope you love it.
I'm excited to watch this one. So yeah, I think it's going to be great, and it's good to go back and kind of find these gems. There's a bunch of them, and you always pick good stuff. So I'm excited for this one.
Thanks.
Yeah, cool. Well, Gretchen, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Catch you on the next one.
All right.